What's good, y'all? Back again, another day, bright and early this morning. Well, not even bright, early this morning, headed to the office. Yeah, what I wanted to talk about today, of course, make sure you like, comment, share, subscribe. What I want to talk about today is just knowledge itself. And I'm not going to get on any esoteric, woke, pro black stuff, excuse me, when I'm talking about knowledge itself. I'm simply talking about knowing yourself, who you are, like knowing that person that sits inside of your conscious mind, you know, excuse me, because we'll never understand our subconscious. That's just something that we can't control. But your conscious, well, you can program it by doing certain things, but that's another topic for another day. What I want to talk about is understanding who you are as a person and how you present yourself, how you carry yourself. You know, me, for example, I study myself thoroughly. I'm always looking to find ways to improve. I'm always looking to see how I can make myself better. I'm always reflecting. I'm always thinking. I'm always analyzing situations to see what I could have did differently or what I could have done better. This year, my focus specifically is on having more empathy for people and better understanding the people in my life, as well as being a more effective communicator. I personally have a issue with getting the things that are in my head out effectively to the people that I'm speaking to. So, and a lot of people seem surprised by that just because I can get on live and talk, or I can make videos and talk and express ideas, but that's not interpersonal. It's not one-on-one. If I'm having a one-on-one conversation with somebody, I know that I have difficulty expressing the thoughts that are in my head and effectively getting that across to the person that I'm speaking with. So it's something that I work on. It's something that I'm conscious of. It's something that I'm aware of. And I became aware of it because I realized that when I was talking to a lot of people, they would get upset or they would take things differently from how I presented it or how I laid it out. So then that's when I had to reflect and realize, like, dang, well, if one person happens, okay, maybe it's that person. If it's two people, okay, maybe it's the same character type. But if it's 3, 4, 5, 6 people and the same thing is happening, it's miscommunication, it's okay, look, it's not everybody else, bro. It's you. You got to look at yourself and figure out, why can't you talk to people and express yourself the way that you need to in order to get your point across. And so, with me understanding that and realizing it, then it's immediately trying to take action in order to fix that. A lot of us, we have flaws, we have shortcomings, we have things that stop us from reaching our true potential. And most of us don't even realize that these are flaws, character flaws. A lot of us are running around and we're thinking that the world is out to get us, or that we're, just cursed or whatever, or we have some type of issues and it's everybody else, it's not us. So you have that. It's like, if it's a spectrum, you have that end of the spectrum where you have people that just really don't even understand that a lot of the issues that come into their life are of their control. And then you move slightly over to the left, you have people that understand that they have a problem, but they don't do anything about it. And you can pretty much call that the middle. And then on the far left, you have people that understand these things and they're hyper aware of it, and they're always trying to work on it and fix it. I'm like on the far left of that spectrum. Whenever I find something that is a character flaw on me, I hone in on it immediately and I try to fix it right then and there. And usually it ends up leading into awkward situations. So let's say, for example, let me think of a scenario real quick. If I realize that I've done something wrong, then I try to fix it right then and there immediately. Like, oh, okay, yeah, I made a mistake. Boom, let me fix it. And that is not always the best idea, because if you're playing chess, anybody that plays chess understands that the board starts off the same no matter how you're playing it. But if you make one move, then the game is completely different. The pieces are indifferent. It's not the same chess game that's going on. So even if two people are playing chess and they make the exact same moves, unless you got four people unless you got two people at one table and two people at another table, and they're just copying each other and making the exact same moves. If one person makes one move different and another person makes a different move, you have two totally different chess games going on. And so I say that to say, if you make a mistake when you're dealing with another person, the whole board changes. And me, I would try to fix a mistake thinking that the chess pieces are the same, but it's a totally different game now. And so I'm sitting here like moves behind trying to catch up and fix something that's already broken, when instead I need to address what's broken in its current state and then move forward from there instead of where it was 5 minutes ago. It's like if you break an egg, here's a better one. If you got an egg and you drop that egg and it's broken now, that's not the same egg that you had before. It's broken. So either you get another egg or you pick that egg up off the floor and you put it in the pot and you do whatever you're going to do with it and try to scramble it. But it's not the same egg, if that makes sense. I hope I'm conveying that across effectively. So when you're dealing with people, you have to understand that, you can't make abrupt changes and you can't do things on the fly and think that no one's going to notice. And so that's been a big problem that I've been wrestling with and grappling with, just understanding my personal interactions and understandings and dealings with people. And, the biggest thing is you got to get outside help. For the longest time, I thought that I could just grow and develop and learn by myself and I could just fix myself. And that wasn't the case, man. I had to get a mentor, shout out to my brother, Jay, man. He really took me under his wing and he took a lot of risks investing time into me and making me a better person and just getting my mind right mentally, man. Like, you need a coach of some sort. You need somebody that's going to be willing to spend time with you and invest in you and have those uncomfortable conversations and tell you, like, what you're doing right now is terrible. For example, another scenario, I always talk about men being overly emotional and, men being too in their feelings. I get that from Jay, because when we first met, he was always telling me, man, and he's very blunt, and I told him, like, the only way I'm going to learn and grow is if you be 100% direct with me and you tell me, where I'm coming up short or where I need to improve on or what I need to work on. Don't hold any punches, just keep it 100. So when we first met, he was always telling me, man, you acting like a female, bro. Or he'd be like, you acting like a bitch. That's what women do, bro. You're being super feminine right now. Like, why are you putting that much energy into this situation? Or why do you want to be so emotional? Like, I used to always be spazzing and just going off and being extra. I really did act like a female, and it wasn't in an effeminate homosexual type way at all. That's not what I'm saying. But men carry themselves a certain way. Women carry themselves a certain way. Men are logical. Men think things through. Men focus on details. Men focus on getting things done. Women are emotional. They focus on feelings. They focus on how things make them feel. They focus on nurturing. They focus on nutrition, different things like that. And these days, a lot of people get upset by that, but, it is what it is. I mean, men have more testosterone. Testosterone makes you behave a certain way. Women have more estrogen. Estrogen makes you behave a certain way, and I'm not even going to get into the weeds of all of that, because that's just something totally different, but at the end of the day, men behave a certain way, women behave a certain way. And so, like I was saying, when I first met Jay and we were talking and everything, he was just always telling me, like, you're behaving like a female, bro. That's not manly. That's not how a man should act. And I never took it personally, or I never took it to heart, because he was giving me exactly what I asked for, showing me the ropes, teaching me how to be a better man, And so with that being said, when you find a mentor or a coach, or if you go to therapy or you go to counseling, you know, there's going to be some uncomfortable truths about yourself that you may not necessarily want to hear. You may not even like it, but the fact is, that's reality, you know, and you can sit there and try to ignore it or buck or rebel against somebody that's, you know, there to make you a better person. But when you do that, you become delusional and you lose sight of reality because you're no longer living in the real world. You're living in this made up fantasy that you created in which you're perfect and you don't have any flaws. Because all of us have flaws. All of us have character issues that we need to work on and that we need to improve on, areas that we can be better. And when you don't address those, you can have this puffed up, inflated ego where you just think that, you know, it's not you, it's everybody else. And you adopt this woe is me mentality, or it's just me against the world mentality, and everybody hates me and everybody's out to get me. And I was there before. I was there, so I know what that feels like. I'm not just making this up. I'm talking, this isn't theory. This is, you know, real world experience where I felt like everybody was out to get me, or everybody hated me, or everybody was trying to attack me. But the issue was I wasn't addressing the needs inside of me or my character flaws of what I was doing and how I was impacting and affecting these people. And sometimes it's subconscious. You know, for me, my biggest thing was a lack of aggression. So I would never want to ruffle feathers or hurt people's feelings, or, you know, I would always try to avoid confrontation. And by me doing that, it inevitably always caused confrontation, because I'd agree to things that I had no possible way of getting done, but I'd agree to them just to not disappoint somebody else, or just to keep from having to argue with somebody. And in the long run, all I did was end up arguing with this person anyway, because they expected me to have something done and I wasn't capable of doing it for whatever reason, you know. So these are things that were stopping me from reaching my next level or from reaching my peak, because here it is in the middle of the day, I'm having an argument with somebody over something that I could have addressed weeks ago, but here we are because I committed to something that I could have never had done in the first place. And it's just little scenarios and situations like that. You know, me being afraid to confront people, or me being afraid to have conflict, it was holding me back from getting to the new level. And it even translated to business. You know, I'd be scared to negotiate with people. I'd be scared to lose deals. I'd be scared to walk away when something didn't make sense. So, you know, my first few years, I got jerked a lot because people could smell the fact that I was afraid to push the buttons. And once they saw that, they were able to capitalize on that and exploit it. It was a weakness that was not only affecting my personal life, but it was affecting my professional life, because it was costing me money as well. So, you know, these are things that you won't be able to see on your own, because we're programmed to behave and think a certain way based on the experiences and the life that we've lived. So for us, it's normal. You don't think that it's something that you can fix. It's something that you can change, because it's been you your entire life. It's all that you know. I've been avoiding conflict forever. So until he pointed that out to me and told me, you know, you got to fix that, bro, because not only is it costing you money, and it's costing me money, and I don't like losing money, but it's affecting your personal life. You will never be the man that you say you want to be until you address this. And see, that's the thing about a good coach or a good therapist or a good whatever. When you have somebody that knows how your mind works, they know the words to use to get you to do what you need to do to improve your life. See, for me, I like challenges. And he would say little things like, if you're the person that you say you want to be, you know what I'm saying? And it's like, so what, you think I don't want to be this person? And then it's boom, all right, let me show you, motherfucker. So then it's challenge mode, because I need challenges. If I'm not being challenged, then I get bored. And it's funny because when I was working at Food Lion, I was talking to my manager one day in the back, and he was like, man, you know, sometimes I wonder if you're too smart for this job, you know? And I was like, what you mean? He was like, you know, it just seems like you're bored, man. Like, you know, this work isn't enough for you, or you just you don't, I don't know. And I was like, nah, man, it's not that. In my mind, I'm like, I'm ready to move forward and do other things, but at the same time, I knew I wasn't going to be there long, so it was no need for me to get into management or anything like that. So I was kind of in a box, and that box was causing me, it was affecting my performance. And granted, it's Food Lion, but it's still an organization, a respectable $1 billion organization. It's a grocery store, but it is, make no mistakes about it, a $1 billion organization. I mean, I'm pretty sure it was safe to say, like, in Bishopville, easily a multi-million-dollar business a year, just to give you perspective. So even though, yeah, it's a grocery store, and yeah, it's not, what most people would think of on the local level, it's an organization. And so by me putting myself in that box and knowing I'm not going to stay there long, because I already knew I was going to move to Charlotte, that was already locked in. So I was putting myself in a box, and subconsciously it was affecting my performance, So I always have to be challenged. But not to run off on a tangent, getting back to the focus, you have to be able to surround yourself with people that's going to keep it 100 with you. And they'll tell you the truth, even if you don't like it, or even if you don't want to hear it. That's just if you want to grow. Now, if you want to stay the person that you are, and if you feel like you're perfect, and if you feel like everything's good for you, then you keep going. And, more power to you. But those of us that want to grow, those of us that are seeking to become the best possible versions of ourselves, you're going to have to get a coach at some point in time, and you're not always going to like it. It's not always going to be comfortable. Like I said, it's going to be a whole bunch of uncomfortable conversations. And that's why you have to have somebody that's assertive enough to keep it 100 with you, and not just somebody that you're paying to tell you what you want to hear. Because if people are only telling you what you want to hear, you're never going to grow. You're always going to be stuck in that same place. Or that's how you have these celebrities that are just so out of touch, and they don't understand what's going on in the real world, because they're surrounded by people that only tell them what they want to hear, and they don't tell the truth, or they don't tell the ugly things. And for me personally, that's something that I'm working on too. And it goes back to the communication, because like I said, for me, I like to paint people with the broad brush. So I treat all people the same. Well, I treated all people the same. And what last year, specifically, and the years before that, taught me is that you have to treat everybody where they are. You can't treat everybody the same, which is crazy, because in my teaching years, the big focus was on differentiated instruction, which means that each student gets their own education in their level. But for some reason, I would never apply that to my life. So if I have friend A who doesn't like coffee, but I have friend B who loves coffee, when I see friend A and B, I'm going to bring both of them coffee, because me and friend B like coffee, even though friend A doesn't like coffee. And so when friend A would get upset, I'm like, you don't like this gift that I brought you, bro? I just got you some free coffee. And then friend A is like, bro, I don't like coffee. And so then I'm sitting there with the egg on my face, confused, trying to figure out why friend A is upset, when all I had to do was, instead of buying him coffee, buying him tea. And so I say that to say, you have to treat everybody where they are and love them for who they are, where they are at their own capacity. You can't treat everybody the same. You can't paint everybody with one brush. If you do, life is going to be 100 times harder for you. And take it from me, I know personally from experience, because I was that person. And I'm telling you why not to do it. Okay? Got it? Good stuff. So yeah, the biggest thing is just understanding yourself, knowing yourself, learning yourself, spending time with yourself, hiring somebody to show you what you can't see, to show you your blind spots and make you aware of them so that you can improve on them. A really good guy to listen to, and I know he catches a lot of flack, is Kevin Samuels. He goes in on people often, but the things that he says are very, very, very true. If you listen to some of the conversations he has with people, he asks really good questions in order to get people to grow and develop on themselves. And that's the best way people learn. When they come to realizations on their own based off you asking them questions, then they feel like they've done it on their own, even though you've helped them. And that's also something that I got from my mentorship and my coaching with my people. They were really good at figuring out how to get me to see things, or if I didn't miss it, or if I missed it, or if I couldn't catch it, then they like, how did you not see this? Are you that whatever? I'm not gonna get into details about the conversation, because like I said, it's really aggressive. It's really, 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 it's not for the faint of heart. Oh, excuse me, that coffee is no joke. It's not for the faint of heart. It's for people that are really, really, really serious about growing. And growth isn't always pretty. But yeah, that's it for today. If you like this video, like I said, make sure that you like, comment, subscribe, share. So we still working on getting this routine down packed. So right now it's kind of sporadic and all over the place. But once I kind of get some consistency in my schedule, I will be able to get some consistency on my posting schedule. So just bear with me, guys. I'm not going to pull a 2019 and disappear for 6 months. I'm definitely going to be posting and being more active. I just need to kind of get some things in order. So bear with me. It's coming soon. But yeah, let's continue to go after it. Let's continue to focus. Let's make this year better than the year before and the year before that. And that's the thing. As long as you're growing and moving forward, then you're never failing. The only time you're failing is when you stop or when you give up on yourself. All right?